So what are we gonna do today, Cousin PW?
The same thing we do every day, Melvin. Try to take over the neighborhood.
Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. First of all, you might hear some noises you don't normally hear, like the washer. I'm out in the front room, which is not far from the kitchen, which is where the washer is, and there's a load of clothes going. But during my present situation, I don't have much of a choice but to record wherever I can find space. So, hope it don't come through too loud, and hope you can deal with it. Been away for a while. I just put out a video explaining what's going on, so if you want to know what's that. Also, I have started a Patreon, link is in the description. So, if you have a couple of extra dollars you can give, think about giving it to this old man. I promise you I'll put it to good use. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not very good at shilling, which is probably why I'm not any bigger than what I am. I'm just not good at it. I don't feel right about it. Feels like tooting my own horn, and I'm not comfortable with that. Anyway, so for my first video back in a while, I thought a good topic might be just kind of a ramble video about why do I do this? Why do I make this kind of content? Why am I part of this community? Because I hear some discomfort with the anti-SJW community, for lack of a better term. I don't like that term, but just so you know what I'm talking about. From different ones claiming they don't like where it's been, and they're an echo chamber, and and I'm not going to mention any names, but all you got to do is check on Twitter, and it's not hard to figure out who I'm talking about, and the ones. It's not just one, there's several. First of all, to those, any group is going to have their nut jobs and the ones that are just buttholes. I don't care what the subject matter is. You could talk about gaming. Shoot, you could have unboxing videos, and you're going to have that. Okay? So, get off your fifis. Some of you are acting more SJW than the SJWs that we attack or that we go against. So, come on. Get off your fifis. Just make your content. Leave others. If they're any good, they'll succeed. If they're not any good, they won't succeed. And just leave it at that. But why do I do what I do? Well, as most of you know, I'm older than most of you. I go back. And I have actually seen some of the things that some of you have only read about in books. Civil rights movement, second wave feminism, all the homegrown terrorist attacks of the 70s, things I've done videos on, blah, 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 yakety schmackety, so on and so on and so forth. My generation, the baby boomers, are dying out. We're getting older. Pretty soon we're going to be a time where the only one left alive are just people that read about these things that happened in a book. And I don't want that to be the time when it's all forgotten. Why? Because all of the advantages, all the rights and the freedoms that the SJWs claim that they don't have were given during that period of time, during the civil rights movement, during the women's rights movement, during all of those things, they got those rights. Everybody today in the Western world has the same rights and freedoms as everybody else, regardless of race, creed, or color. And I'm afraid that will get forgotten, so I do this. Why would it be a terrible thing that be forgotten? Because I don't want to leave a world for my grandchildren where you're told what to think, when you're told how to dress, when you're told how to speak, and left to most of the SJWs out there, that's exactly what would happen. Talking about certain things as being a Nazi. Let's make it illegal. Let's lock them up. That's what some of them say. Steve Sives. And I don't want to leave a world like that for my grandchildren. I want to leave a world where they can say what they want, where they can think what they want to think, wear what they want to wear. Now, with that freedom comes consequences. You can say what you want to, but people are not bound to like it. There's no guarantee they're going to like it, and they have the freedom to say so back. You can wear what you want to wear, but people are not required to like it. Somebody might tell you look like a clown. You can think what you want to think. There are no thought police now. But if some of the people I oppose have their way, there will be. This is why I do what I do. I believe wholeheartedly in the freedom to do or to think and to feel and to say what you want to. Now, there are some in our community that try to tell you how to think and so forth. Of course we do. We want to give you our opinion. But many are like I am. I don't want you to take my word for it. Anything I say or present, please research it for yourself or think it out for yourself. If you disagree, then disagree with me, and we'll discuss it. But the other side doesn't want to do that. They want to shut off discussion. They don't want to hear your opinion if it's different than theirs, because that's hate speech. If it's different than theirs, it's automatically hate speech, or you're a Nazi, or you're a racist, or you're a sexist, or you're a rapist. All of those nasty things, and that's not a world I want to see. My generation is dying out, as I said. I've got maybe another 20 years left, maybe if I'm lucky. Looking at how old the men live to be in my family. So I don't have a lot of time left to make sure that this freedom is not forgotten. And if you think that can ever happen, you're fooling yourself. If we let them go unchecked, it can happen. And I'm not so naive or so full of myself to think that my little something on YouTube, or even the bigger channels like Sargon and Bering and so forth, what we do on YouTube is going to make a huge impact on the world, but it's a voice. And one voice turns into two voices, and two voices turn into four, and exponentially it grows. At least the counter idea is out there, because we have not beat the SJW movement. Yeah, we kind of run them off of YouTube there for a little while, quieted them up. But it's not beat. They run our government. They are bigger in our government than people that think like we do. And here in America, we've got a freedom that not every Western, I'd like to see every Western country have, and that is guaranteed freedom of speech. It's in our Constitution. It's not in theirs. Recently, there was a video that caused a lot of controversy by Bering, because he has decided to vote no on a survey sent out about, do you want to open up marriage to gays? And people have misunderstood his point and got all bent out of shape about it. But I understand what he's trying to say. In Australia, they do not have a guarantee of freedom of speech. Now, I do disagree with him. This, so far as I can tell, is just asking for an opinion. If it was actually a referendum or a bill that was up, I would be 100% behind Bering and say, yes, vote no until it's clarified. Right now, it's just asking for an opinion. So I think he's jumping just a little too soon, but I understand what he's talking about. I understand his fear, and I get it. I'm not ready to jump on the bandwagon and gather the peasants with the pitchforks and go string him up. That's ridiculous. And I cannot believe that if Cult of Dusty is to be believed, that people went to him and asked him to do a response video to Bering. I can't believe anybody even really listens to that retard anymore, that moron. He's close to my age, I think, and that makes me ill. It makes me ashamed. The people of my generation think like that idiot. But at any rate, I'm getting off on a tangent, I guess. But you can see the point of bringing up bearings. You see already even people in our side get all up in their feels and want to censor your speech. Oh, that's homophobic. Bering can't say that. We've got to shut him down. No, he has the right to say that. You have the right to disagree, but he has the right to say it. Now, it brings up another point, too, because, everybody knows I'm a moderator in the Lords of the Night chat, which I haven't been able to be on as much as I'd like. Now, during football season, I probably won't be there on Sunday and Mondays in case there's football games I want to watch. I do run that weekly football stream. Please, if you like football, come watch it. We have a good time. I really enjoy it. We don't have a huge viewership, but it's very active. And I really enjoy doing that every week with my son, J-Kid, and with Minding Freedom. And whatever guests we drum up from time to time. But I've not been able to be there because of my computer problems, my equipment problems, as much as I'd like. But every stream is different. Every stream has rules. And on the Lords of the Night stream, they're very strict about things that are said or done in the chat. And if it's deemed racist or just completely stupid, we might be asked, the moderators, to give you a timeout. And if it gets bad enough, to ban you outright. People say, oh, that's a restriction of my freedom of speech. And I disagree. It's not. First of all, there's the whole argument about it's a private platform and they can do what they want. It's not public. Freedom of speech is only guaranteed by the government in public, not on private platforms and so forth. And yada, yada, yada. But this is the way I think of it. If somebody walks up to me on the street and starts shouting in my face all this SJW stuff that I don't agree with, and I don't want to hear it, it is not mandatory that I stay there and listen to it. I can walk away. I can get it out. I can shut it up. I can walk away and not hear. I do not have to listen to it. You have the freedom to say whatever you want, but nobody is mandated that they have to listen. Sorry if you cut the jump cut there, but there was an interruption. Nobody has to listen to what you say. And getting timed out, or even getting banned from a live stream or a channel, is just that. Not wanting to hear what you have to say, and they have that right. Privately, we have that right. Publicly, you can say anything you want. Now, personally, I'm not as active with it. I've only got one person banned from my channel, and that's because they refused to listen to what I warned them not to do. They'd done it anyway, and poof, they're banned. That's it. But you have to be pretty bad for me to ban you. Pretty much you'd have to be a pedophile or something like that for me to ban you off my channel. I do have in my NFL stream, even my own friends that come in here into the chat, I tell them, this is not about social commentary. I don't want it in this chat. It's football only. If you can't talk about football, don't come in, or we'll time you out. And I hold to that. Now, thankfully, we don't have much of a problem with that, because everybody that comes seems to be like me and wants to get away from that for just a couple hours. Although football is becoming so social justice-y anymore with the whole kneeling and everything. And I may do a whole video just on that myself, because I've really got opinions on that. But let me just say this much. I tune into football to watch football, not to listen all about your protest. I like to watch the pre-games. And the last pre-game I watched on last Sunday, in a 45-minute show, spent 30 minutes talking about how wrong Donald Trump was in his statement to the NFL. And I didn't tune in for that. If you want to mention it because it's news, fine. But 30 minutes out of a 45-minute show, I wanted to talk about football. Not morons that think they got to kneel. Okay? I may very well do a video on that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'm trying to restructure my time frame, and there's about a 2-hour window before the kids get home from school that I can record if I get some assistance from other people in the house to do so, since I have to sit out in the front room. But anyway, I'm getting off on another tangent. But hopefully I've made it clear why I do, and why others that I've talked to in this community do what we do. It's important. Maybe our voice may seem small. Maybe your voice might seem small. Maybe you don't even have a channel and you think you can't make a difference, but you can make a difference just by holding on to the ideals of a free society. Not one structured to take away your freedoms and to tell you how to think and tell you how to feel and impose upon you how you have to accept this and to shove things down your throat. You have to accept this lifestyle and you have to accept that lifestyle and you have to accept this idea, or you're homophobic or you're racist or you're sexist or you're a rapist or whatever nasty or you're Nazi, whatever else they can think of. That's not a world we want. I don't even think the people that espouse that idea understand what they're asking for, and they probably really wouldn't want it once it arrived either. They may think they do, but if it arrived, they probably would rethink it. Anyway, I hope this has made sense. This is why I find it important to do this kind of content. And it is a war. It is a battle. It's a fight, and it's a fight for our freedom. And most people aren't even aware of this. Most people that we would call normies, aren't into YouTube, aren't into this area of YouTube, don't watch this kind of content. They wouldn't know Antifa from antibiotics or none of that stuff. And they don't realize that this battle is going on. They don't get it. So it's up to those of us that do understand it, do see it, and do hold it important to keep the word, to keep the good word out there. I mean, I really feel it's that important, because if we let our guard down, this SJW ideology will take over, and we'll all live under an autocratic society that tells us how we should think, feel, and speak, probably even dress. You know, and they already think that we can't think for ourselves. At any rate, I could go on and make this a long video. I'm making a conscious effort to try to shorten them a little bit. Yep, that's to you, Ranting Monkey, in case you listen. And I'm going to cut it short now. And we're going to try to edit this if my computer will comply and get it uploaded, and ta-da, you'll have some content. Anyway, as always, for those of you still around, thank you so much for sticking with me. Please continue to do so. Please consider doing Patreon if you can. And if not, hey, no hard feelings. I get it. I'm broke too. But until the next time, as always, get out of my yard.